AITA for telling my wife she's not a bonus mom and asking her to stop calling herself that. I, 38M, have a daughter, Ella, 13F, from my previous marriage. Her mom and I divorced when she was 6. It was amicable at first, but things got complicated after my ex remarried and tried to relocate across the country. Long story short, I fought for custody, won 50-50, and she stayed here. We now have a very structured custody schedule, and Ella spends alternating weeks with me and her mom. I remarried 2 years ago to my current wife, Hannah, 35F. She doesn't have children of her own, but has always said she wanted to be a mom someday. She met Ella when she was 11. I took things slow introducing them, and while Ella was polite, it was clear she wasn't immediately warm to Hannah. She's a cautious kid, not quick to trust, especially after the upheaval of the divorce and custody battle. Hannah's been trying hard, and I'll give her credit. She's been kind, generous, and tries to include Ella in things. But Ella remains reserved. They don't argue, but Ella doesn't seek her out either. It's a civil but distant relationship. The issue started about a year ago when Hannah started referring to herself as Ella's bonus mom. At first, it was only around the house. She'd say things like bonus mom reporting for dinner duty in a jokey voice. Ella didn't react much to it. She's the eye-roll type, not the confrontational type. I asked her privately how she felt about it, and she shrugged and said, "It's weird, but whatever." I told Hannah maybe ease up on that label, but she brushed it off as just being playful. Then Hannah started using it in public. She posted a photo on Instagram of the 3 of us at a fall festival and captioned it, "Making memories with my bonus daughter #bonusmomlife." I asked her to maybe just say family or weekend outing instead. She said I was being negative and that bonus mom is a positive term used by many blended families. I didn't push, but this week things came to a head. It was Ella's birthday. Her mom threw a party last weekend, and we had a dinner for her on her actual birthday Tuesday. Hannah had planned a little surprise, a cake Ella likes, decorations, and even made a slideshow of pictures of Ella growing up, including some from the last 2 years that she took. It was sweet and thoughtful. But during the dinner, Hannah gave a little speech. She said, "Being your bonus mom has been one of the greatest joys of my life, and I hope you know how much I care about you." Ella looked visibly uncomfortable and didn't say anything. After dinner, she went to her room early and didn't want to finish the slideshow. When I checked in on her, she was clearly upset and told me, "She's not my mom." Why does she keep saying that? It makes me feel weird and fake. I spoke to Hannah after Ella went to bed and told her what Ella said. I asked her, gently but firmly, to stop calling herself a bonus mom because it's clearly making Ella uncomfortable and feels forced. Hannah looked hurt and asked, "Do you not see me as a parental figure at all? I'm not just some roommate." I said I appreciated everything she's done, but Ella already has a mom. And it's not up to us to define the relationship. Ella gets a say too. If she doesn't feel like she has a second mom, we need to respect that. Hannah started crying and accused me of siding with my ex and allowing a 13-year-old to control the narrative. She said it feels like no matter what she does, she's never truly going to be part of my family. Now things are tense. She's barely speaking to me, and she's gone noticeably cold around Ella, which isn't helping. I feel stuck. I want Hannah to feel included, but I also need to protect Ella's emotional comfort. Some of my friends say Hannah's heart is in the right place and that I should encourage Ella to be more open. Others say Hannah is overstepping and not respecting boundaries. So Reddit, AITA for telling my wife to stop calling herself my daughter's bonus mom. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It helps the content grow and motivates me to create even more great videos. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any new uploads. By the way, I'm curious, when do you usually watch my videos? While working, studying, or just relaxing at home? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for your support. AITA for secretly recording a conversation with my wife and playing it back to prove to her that she gaslights me. This has been building up for years, but things came to a head 2 weeks ago. I, 34M, have been married to my wife, 32F, for 6 years, together for 9. We have one child together, a 4-year-old daughter. We both work full-time jobs. She works remotely, and I'm in IT at a hospital. For as long as I can remember, anytime we disagree on something, big or small, she'll find a way to twist what I said. If I called her out on it, she'll say I'm misremembering, taking it out of context, or outright making things up. It's subtle but constant. I started to feel like I was going crazy because I knew what I said, but she'd always convince me I was wrong. Example, last month, we were talking about maybe taking a short trip for our anniversary. I told her I didn't want to spend too much since we had some unexpected expenses from the car breaking down. She agreed and said a weekend getaway in-state would be perfect. A week later, she starts sending me links to resorts in the Bahamas. I reminded her of our budget, and she acted like the previous conversation never happened and claimed I said we should go all out since it's our 6th anniversary and we haven't traveled since our daughter was born. I started writing things down in a notebook after that. Still, it wasn't enough because she'd say I misunderstood her tone or didn't get the full context. So I started recording certain conversations. It felt wrong at first, but I needed clarity for myself. 2 weeks ago, we had a disagreement about daycare pickup. We alternate days. That week, I picked her up on Monday and Wednesday, so Friday was supposed to be her turn. I reminded her Thursday night, and she said, "Yep, got it." On Friday, I get a call from the daycare at 5:45 p.m. They close at 6, asking if someone's coming. I was still at work, had to scramble to get someone to cover me, and drove like hell to make it on time. When I got home, I asked her what happened. She looked me dead in the eye and said I never told her it was her day. I told her we discussed it. She confirmed. She laughed and said, "You're always trying to blame me for stuff you forget." I pulled out my phone, played the recording from Thursday night where she literally said, "Yep, got it," after I reminded her. Her face went white. She got super quiet, then asked, "Are you recording me now?" I said no, but I admitted I had been recording some of our conversations when I needed to be sure what was said. She completely flipped. She accused me of violating her trust, invading her privacy, being controlling, and said it was abusive behavior. She told me I had no right to record her in our own home. I reminded her that our state is a one-party consent state. I checked beforehand, so it wasn't illegal, but she said legal and ethical aren't the same. She left that night and took our daughter to her sister's place. Her sister called me and said I was a psycho and my wife was terrified of me now. Some of our mutual friends are split. Some say I shouldn't have recorded her no matter what, and others say if she's gaslighting me, I did what I had to do. I didn't do this to control her. I didn't scream or threaten or even argue. I calmly played a recording to defend myself against a lie. I tried every other route, notes, texts, gentle reminders, but she always made me feel like I was losing my grip on reality. She's still at her sister's 2 weeks later and said she's considering separation. I told her I'd be open to couples counseling, but she says she doesn't want to be married to someone who spies on her. Part of me feels awful. Like, yeah, maybe this was over the line. But the other part of me feels like I was drowning, and this was the only way to prove I wasn't crazy. I never used the recordings for anything except playing back one single clip to defend myself. I didn't share it with anyone else. I don't know what to think anymore. Did I go too far? AITA for refusing to let my stepdaughter move back in with us after what she did to my son. I, 38M, have been married to my wife Jenna, 40F, for 6 years. I have a son, Ryan, 16, from a previous relationship. She has a daughter, Lily, 17, from hers. We each had full custody when we met, so our kids have been living together since they were around 10 and 11. At first, it was rocky, as expected with 2 kids suddenly thrown together, but over time they grew to be close. Or at least I thought they did. Now here's where it gets complicated. About 7 months ago, Lily started acting different. Mood swings, sneaking out, being distant with everyone in the house. At first, I chalked it up to teenage stuff. Jenna thought the same. But then things got weird specifically with Ryan. He became really withdrawn, stopped inviting friends over, lost interest in soccer, which he loved. I asked him a million times what was going on, and he always just said he was tired or stressed from school. He's a quiet kid, very sensitive, and not the kind to open up easily. Then in March, it all came to a head. Ryan had a full-blown panic attack during a math test and ended up at the nurse's office. I went to pick him up, and something in me just snapped. I told him I needed the truth, no more dancing around. That's when he finally broke down and told me what was happening. Apparently, Lily had been bullying him for months. She wasn't just teasing. She was emotionally tormenting him, calling him creepy in front of her friends, spreading rumors at school that he was into weird stuff. Even told a girl he liked that he had stalked her, which was totally false. She went into his room while he was showering and took pictures of some of his sketchbooks and shared them online, making fun of his art. He draws fantasy characters, dragons, warriors, etc., and she told people he was into violent anime porn. It got to the point where he didn't feel safe at school or even in his own house. When I confronted Lily, she admitted most of it but tried to downplay it like it was a joke that got out of hand. Jenna tried to defend her at first, saying teenage girls can be mean, but that she didn't mean to traumatize Ryan. I put my foot down and said Lily had to leave. She couldn't live in our house anymore. That obviously caused a huge fight. Jenna took Lily and moved in with her sister temporarily while we figured things out. I put Ryan into therapy. I also personally contacted the school and made sure Lily was removed from any of his classes. Jenna begged me after a few weeks to reconsider and let Lily move back in, promising it would be different. I told her no. Ryan needed to feel safe, and I was not going to gamble with his mental health again. Fast forward to now. It's been almost 5 months. Lily is still living with Jenna's sister. Jenna comes by to visit me and Ryan, but things are tense. Last weekend, she told me she wants to come back home and bring Lily. I said absolutely not. She accused me of holding a grudge and punishing a child for being a teenager. She said Lily has suffered enough, and that this split is hurting our marriage and both girls. I told her point blank, my son will always come first. He's only just now starting to act like himself again. He laughs more, eats with us at dinner again, and even started drawing again. I'm not throwing him back into the lion's den to save a relationship. Now my in-laws are involved, messaging me and calling me vindictive and cruel. Jenna's sister, who, by the way, has complained privately to Jenna that she's tired of having Lily under her roof, is telling me I need to step up and be a father figure to Lily. But I try to be. For years, I treated her like my own. I went to her recitals, helped with homework, drove her to birthday parties. And the way she turned on Ryan, it felt like a betrayal to all of us. What's worse is that I don't feel like she's truly sorry. She wrote Ryan an apology letter that basically said, "Sorry you felt hurt by what I did, but I was just messing around and didn't know you'd take it so hard." That's not an apology. That's a PR statement. Now Jenna says if I don't reconsider, she doesn't know how we can keep going as a couple, that she won't abandon her daughter. And I understand that. I don't want her to, but I also won't let Ryan be abandoned emotionally again. I love my wife, but if it comes down to losing my marriage or protecting my son, I will lose the marriage every time. I feel sick and heartbroken even typing that. But I can't forget the look on Ryan's face when he told me what Lily did. I let it go on for too long without knowing. I won't make that mistake again. Still, part of me wonders, am I being too harsh? Is it fair to effectively exile a teenage girl from her home forever? People change, right? But how do I weigh that against my responsibility to my son? So Reddit, AITA for refusing to let my stepdaughter move back in after she emotionally bullied my son?